They tell you to be loved, to inspire loyalty, to build trust, but they forget how fragile these things are in the current. Love drifts with the wind, loyalty bends with opportunity. Trust is the currency of the naive, traded cheaply in back rooms you'll never see. And yet you, if you are to hold the center, must stand unmoved, as if the storms beyond the palace walls cannot reach you. Appear calm while you rearrange the board. Power is not held in the open. It is stitched in whispers, in silent nods, in the moments between a command and its execution. Most men never see this machinery because they are busy mistaking gestures for truth. They think a smile signals friendship, that an embrace means alliance, that a signature on paper binds destiny. They do not see that every smile can be sharpened, that embraces conceal daggers, that signatures are ink spilled on shifting sands. If you would endure, you must learn to navigate this theater. Master the masks others wear and the mask you present to them. Never let your enemies guess the contours of your fear, nor your allies the weight of your ambitions. A ruler who reveals the whole of himself is already undone. The lion is feared for his strength, but it is the fox who survives the snare. Be both, yet let the world see neither. The tragedy of power is this: you will be betrayed, not once, but countless times. You will be deceived by faces you trusted, undermined by hands you fed, and you will wonder if there is honor left in men. But betrayal is not an aberration. It is the natural tide of human affairs. To govern is to expect it, to prepare for it, to use it. The ruler who cries over lost loyalty is no ruler at all. He is prey in waiting. Do not mistake ruthlessness for cruelty. To be ruthless is to act without hesitation, when hesitation would cost you everything. It is not to slaughter for pleasure or to dominate for its own sake. It is to prune the tree so that it does not collapse under its own diseased branches. And yet you must take care. The hand that strikes too often becomes feared, and fear untempered by respect curdles into hatred. A prince who is hated stands on a crumbling foundation. Appear calm while you rearrange the board. Even as you dismantle the alliances around you, even as you sever ties and cultivate new ones, even as you prepare the trap, let your demeanor betray no haste. Rage is a luxury for those who cannot command. A ruler's anger must be as controlled as his generosity, each deployed only when it serves purpose. Let others be carried away by passions. You must stand apart, the still eye at the center of the storm. Control is never total. Accept this. No matter how many spies you plant, how many networks you weave, there will always be currents you cannot steer. Fortune is a wild horse. She yields to those who seize her reins with boldness, but even then she will sometimes throw you. The timid rider is crushed. The bold one climbs back. Learn when to grip hard and when to let her run. And remember this: appearances are not decoration. They are armor and weapon alike. You must be seen as just enough, strong enough, generous enough, even merciful enough. These are not virtues. They are tools. A ruler without the appearance of virtue is easy to depose. A ruler burdened with real virtue is easy to manipulate. In this game, perception is reality. Shape it, guard it, live behind it. You are not here to be loved. You are here to hold the center when others scatter, to endure where others fall, to outlast the chaos that consumes lesser men. If you are to rule, you must see clearly. The world is not as it should be. It is as it is. And in that space between what is and what could be lies the narrow path of survival. So walk it. Appear calm while you rearrange the board. Let them believe they are winning even as you reset the pieces. Let them imagine you are their friend even as you tighten the snare. And when the moment comes, strike not out of anger, not out of fear, but out of necessity. This is the architecture of power. Brutal, delicate, inescapable. To rule is not to rise above it. To rule is to become its master. The greatest illusion is that power can be shared. Men speak of councils, of parliaments, of collective wisdom, but beneath the surface there is always one will bending the others, one hand setting the tempo. In every gathering of equals, someone is more equal still. If you are not that hand, that will, then you are being shaped by another. Power abhors balance. It seeks concentration, clarity, singularity. To rule is to accept this concentration not as corruption but as necessity. To hesitate here is to invite your own subjugation. You will be tempted to believe in permanent allies, in enduring bonds of loyalty forged by shared struggle or mutual respect. This is vanity. Alliances exist only as long as interests converge, and the convergence is seldom eternal. To believe otherwise is to mistake the transient for the eternal, the tactical for the sacred. You must honor alliances outwardly, but calculate always for the moment they fracture. The wise ruler is never unprepared for the day a friend becomes an adversary or an enemy extends his hand in apparent peace. Fear and love are the twin instruments of command, yet they cannot be wielded equally. Love is fickle, dependent on gratitude and memory, both of which decay with time. Fear is immediate, visceral, and sharp. It does not require memory, only the knowledge of consequence. Yet fear must be tempered. Too much, and it ferments into rebellion. Too little, and you will be tested endlessly. The art is in balance, enough fear to ensure obedience, enough respect to forestall hatred. They must not merely obey, they must believe resistance is futile. Men are not as they pretend to be. They are not noble creatures moved by reason and justice, but animals driven by hunger, pride, and envy. They clothe themselves in ideals to mask their appetites, but scratch the surface, and you will find the same base instincts that have ruled them since the first tribes sharpened stones into weapons. To govern is to govern these instincts, not their illusions. Flatter their vanity when it suits you, threaten their security when it does not. Speak to their dreams but act upon their fears. There will be moments when events spiral beyond your foresight. Plague, war, financial collapse. These are the shocks that humble even the most careful strategist. Yet even here, the difference between the strong and the weak is revealed. The weak retreat into indecision, paralyzed by the loss of control. The strong adapt, even if adaptation demands sacrifice or deceit. Fortune favors not the cautious but the agile, those who seize opportunity in chaos and emerge with greater command. Resist the urge to moralize your own actions. The ruler who measures himself against abstract ideals is doomed to be measured against them by others. Justice, honor, integrity, these are words men cherish when it is convenient, discard when it is not. You are not here to live as men wish the world to be. You are here to shape it as it is. If deceit preserves the state, employ it. If violence secures the peace, wield it. A ruler's virtue lies in the survival of his rule, not in the purity of his soul. Never underestimate the power of appearances. A weak man dressed in confidence will be taken for strong. A strong man revealed in hesitation will be taken for weak. Perception governs action. Control perception, and you control action. Let your face reflect calm even when your mind races. Let your words soothe even as your plans tighten the noose. Fear not the truth. Fear its exposure. The masses do not seek truth. They seek reassurance. Give them the illusion of certainty, and they will follow. In the end, even the ruler is a captive to the needs of his position, the expectations of his subjects, the ambitions of his rivals. Freedom is a myth for those who bear responsibility. But there is power in this captivity, for the chains that bind you also bind others to you. Your will becomes their horizon, your survival, their necessity. Cultivate this dependence carefully. A ruler who is dispensable will be discarded at the first sign of weakness. A ruler whose absence means collapse is untouchable. Beware those closest to you. Betrayal seldom comes from distant enemies. It germinates in the hearts of confidants, advisors, and kin. They know your habits, your fears, your vulnerabilities. They smile as they sharpen their knives. To trust absolutely is to invite ruin, yet to trust no one is to live in paralysis. The art is to trust selectively, to grant access in layers, to ensure that those nearest depend more on your power than you on theirs. Divide their ambitions, sow rivalries among them, and let no single figure grow indispensable. The ruler must be both sculptor and stone, shaping events and withstanding their blows. There will be times when action is perilous, yet inaction fatal. In such moments, do not wait for perfect knowledge. No decision is without risk, but indecision multiplies risk by inviting others to act in your stead. Better to err boldly than to falter timidly. The world belongs not to those who wait, but to those who seize. Understand that every stage of power is temporary. Today's victory is tomorrow's threat. Success breeds resentment, and the higher you climb, the more hands reach to pull you down. Anticipate this. Do not become complacent in triumph or despondent in loss. Both are passing conditions. A ruler who mistakes permanence for reality is already crumbling from within. You must be strategist, tactician, and actor in one. Strategy charts the course, tactics navigate the terrain, and performance sustains the illusion. Neglect any of these and you will falter. The strategist without tactics is a dreamer. The tactician without strategy is a pawn. The actor without substance is a hollow vessel waiting to shatter. In balance lies durability. Never confuse the people's adoration with security. Crowds cheer the victor but grow restless in peacetime. Bread and spectacle will soothe them for a time, but only for a time. Do not fear their discontent, channel it. Give them enemies to despise, causes to rally behind, victories to celebrate. A ruler who controls the narrative controls the people. In the stillness of night, when the masks slip and silence settles over the palace, you will wonder if it is worth it, the sacrifices, the deceptions, the endless vigilance. But power is not a choice. It is a condition of survival. The world does not forgive weakness. It does not reward innocence. If you had not risen, another would have taken your place, and you would now live at their mercy. To rule is to refuse such dependence. To rule is to exist on your own terms, or not at all. So appear calm while you rearrange the board. Let your enemies believe they understand your moves, even as you play a deeper game. Let your allies feel secure even as you shift the ground beneath their feet. Let the people praise your justice, even as you act with cold necessity. In the end, they will remember only that you endured, and endurance, not purity, is the mark of a sovereign. Then listen closely, because there is no returning from this path once it is seen for what it is. You must learn to watch without being seen. The eyes of a ruler are his sharpest weapon, sharper than any blade or battalion, for they penetrate where armies cannot. Observe the court, the markets, the streets, see how men move when they think no one notices. What they say is rarely what they mean. What they mean is rarely what they do. Trace the currents beneath their words. Map their ambitions, their fears, their dependencies. Only then can you pull the threads that bind them, loosening or tightening at will. Silence is your ally. Speak little and watch much. The man who speaks freely provides others with weapons to use against him. The ruler who listens learns where to strike. Do not reveal your whole mind. Let others exhaust themselves trying to discern your intentions. Confusion is a fog in which you may move unseen. And when you do speak, speak in measures, enough to direct, enough to persuade, enough to inspire, but never enough to be fully known. Remember, it is not necessary to be good, only to appear so. Men will forgive much in a ruler they believe to be virtuous. They will excuse severity if they see justice in it, cruelty if they see necessity, deception if they see wisdom. But let them discover the naked truth too soon, and they will turn on you with righteous fury. Let your public face be one of reason, restraint, and benevolence, even as your private hand arranges betrayals and consolidates power. The mask is not mere protection. It is the instrument by which you rule. In times of calm, prepare for war. In times of war, prepare for peace. The seasons turn, and fortune favors the ruler who anticipates the change before others. Those who cling to a single posture, always conciliatory, always aggressive, are brittle and easily broken. Flexibility is strength. Learn to disarm with generosity and to strike with ferocity, to negotiate with patience and to attack with speed. The oak resists the storm and splinters. The reed bends and survives. Fortune, though capricious, is not entirely beyond mastery. She rewards the bold, but she also punishes the reckless. A ruler must distinguish between daring and folly. To act boldly is to seize the initiative. To act rashly is to gamble the state. Do not move because you feel compelled by fear or anger. Move because the ground beneath you has been surveyed, the terrain understood, the outcome weighed. A hasty ruler is as dangerous to himself as any external enemy. Understand the utility of cruelty. The world despises the word, but in practice it is often the physician of states. A swift, decisive cruelty at the right moment can prevent years of bloodshed and anarchy. Yet cruelty left unchecked metastasizes. It breeds hatred, resistance, and ultimately rebellion. The wise ruler is sparing in its application, yet unflinching when it is required. Strike once, hard, and let the echo of that strike discourage further challenges. Do not aspire to be loved for yourself. Men do not love rulers as they love fathers or brothers. They love what rulers provide: safety, order, prosperity. If you deliver these, they will sing your praises. If you fail, they will curse your name. Their affections are transactional, their loyalty conditional. To expect more is to invite disappointment and danger. Command respect first. Affection may follow, or it may not. In either case, it is of secondary importance. Beware idleness. Power is never static. It must be exercised, refined, expanded, or it decays. The moment you grow complacent, others sense weakness and circle like wolves. Never assume that a settled realm will remain settled, that a loyal minister will remain loyal, that a pacified enemy will remain pacified. Reassess constantly, recalculate alliances, renew your defenses. A ruler asleep at the wheel is no ruler at all. He is a passenger on a vessel already sinking. Envy is the poison that seeps most quickly into a court. Your successes will breed it. Your strength will magnify it. Subordinates will smile in public while plotting in private. To leave envy unchecked is to let it fester into conspiracy. Divide your courtiers with calculated rewards, playing one ambition against another. Let none grow so powerful that they imagine themselves your equal. Keep them dependent, and their rivalries will occupy them more than any thought of your overthrow. The people are an unpredictable sea, calm one day, storming the next. To govern them is to understand their moods without being ruled by them. Fear their hatred, but do not chase their approval. Give them enough to avoid desperation and enough spectacle to inspire awe. Distract them with enemies when they grow restless. Bind them with hope when they grow despairing. They will forgive much if they believe you are strong, and if they believe the alternative is worse. Know that you will make enemies even in virtue. Every reform harms someone's interests. Every act of justice punishes someone's crime. Expect resistance not because you have erred, but because you have acted. A ruler who offends no one achieves nothing. Better to be feared for what you have done than loved for what you never attempted. The essence of statecraft is this: you are not shaping clay, soft and pliable in your hands. You are wrestling a wild beast whose nature cannot be changed, only constrained. Men are self-serving, short-sighted, and proud. These traits will not disappear under your rule. They must be managed, exploited, redirected. A ruler who seeks to elevate men to angels will be devoured by the beasts he refused to see. Resign yourself to solitude. To lead is to stand apart. Those beneath you may pretend friendship, but there is always a gulf. They see in you not the man but the office, not your soul but your utility. Do not begrudge this distance. It is the cost of command. To long for intimacy is to grow soft. To seek understanding is to waste breath. You will find no equals in your realm, only subjects, allies, and rivals. As you navigate the labyrinth, remember, The end is not grandeur, applause, or monuments. The end is survival, the preservation of your state, your power, your life. If you achieve this, history will adorn you with virtues you never possessed. It will speak of your justice, your wisdom, your vision. But these are only the words the living use to make sense of the strong. The dead ruler, no matter how virtuous, receives no such tribute. So appear calm while you rearrange the board. Conceal your calculations behind a placid gaze. Let your enemies wonder at your intentions, and your allies marvel at your composure. Move the pieces one by one until the game is yours. And when you stand alone at the center, know this: you have not transcended the game, you have become it. Then listen carefully, because every word I give you now is a weapon or a wound, and the choice of which it becomes lies with you. To hold power is to stand at the edge of a precipice. One misstep, and the ground will give way. Not because you were wrong in principle, not because you lacked vision, but because the world does not care for principles and vision unless they are shielded by strength. The world respects only force and cunning, cloaked in the appearance of justice. Those who cry out for fairness are the first to betray it when it no longer serves them. Those who demand virtue are the first to excuse vice if it delivers them security. You must understand this duplicity not as corruption but as human nature. To despise it is to waste time. To harness it is to endure. Your enemies will not always wear the colors of opposition. They will come dressed as counselors, confidants, lovers. The hand that feeds them will seem to bind them to you, but gratitude is a feeble chain. Fear, necessity, and ambition, these are stronger. Make those nearest to you need you. Make them aware, quietly, of what they stand to lose should you fall. Dependence binds more surely than affection. Let them suspect that your fall would drag them down with you. Then watch as they defend your position for their own survival. Do not imagine yourself immune to ambition's poison. As you climb, you will feel its heat in your own veins, whispering that the next conquest will finally bring satisfaction. It never does. Ambition devours its host even as it consumes others. If left unchecked, it drives rulers to reckless wars, unnecessary cruelty, and finally, to ruin. Control it as you would control a raging fire. Feed it sparingly. Let it warm but not consume. It is a useful servant, but a deadly master. You will encounter those who demand purity from you. They will urge you to rule with untainted hands, to reject deceit and coercion. They speak as if the state is a temple and the ruler a priest. But the state is not a temple. It is a fortress under siege, and the ruler is its commander. To maintain its walls, you must be prepared to do what priests condemn. The price of purity is fragility, and fragility in power is an invitation to be swept aside. Beware those who offer flattery. Flattery is not merely words. It is a slow toxin that clouds judgment and breeds complacency. A ruler intoxicated by praise becomes deaf to warning and blind to danger. Surround yourself not with flatterers, but with those who fear you enough to speak truth. Yet even then, measure their counsel carefully, for men often mistake their own anxieties for wisdom. In the end, the ruler alone bears the cost of decision, and so the ruler alone must weigh every choice. The temptation to rule by force alone is great, for it is simple, immediate, effective. But force is a blunt instrument. It can crush rebellion, but it cannot inspire loyalty. It can impose order, but it cannot cultivate trust. Rule by fear, but temper it with reward. Rule by strength, but soften it with symbols of justice. Let them believe that your hand is heavy only when provoked, that your punishments are the necessary cost of peace. Appear reluctant in cruelty, even when you are not. Men forgive what they believe is done out of necessity. There is no lasting power without control of narrative. Men live by stories. They obey because they believe in reasons for obedience. Shape those reasons. Rewrite the past if needed. Give them heroes, enemies, and victories to distract from the compromises you make in silence. Control what they see, and you control what they feel. Control what they feel, and you control what they do. Trust is the rarest currency. Spend it carefully, and do not overestimate your own. Even the most loyal subject has a breaking point, and the most loyal friend may one day be a rival. Always leave yourself an escape route. Never grant another such power over you that your survival rests in their hands. To depend on the loyalty of others is to gamble with your life. Depend instead on the structures you build, systems of reward, fear, surveillance, and divide. You will be tempted to believe in peace as a natural state, but peace is only the pause between conflicts. It is a fragile equilibrium maintained by fear, force, or exhaustion. The wise ruler does not squander peace on dreams of permanence. He uses it as a moment to gather strength, to reform institutions, to ready for the storms that will inevitably return. The essence of power lies not in the laws written in books, but in the obedience they command. A law unenforced is a suggestion. A ruler unenforced is a memory. Let your subjects see that disobedience is not merely punished, but rendered unthinkable. Yet do not make martyrs of rebels when you can make examples. It is more effective to destroy their credibility than their bodies. Death ends a life. Ridicule ends an idea. In every court, there are those who imagine they are indispensable. No one is indispensable but the ruler. Let your ministers serve with skill, but remind them they are servants, not masters. Replace them if they grow too confident. Promote rivals to balance one another's ambitions. Let them fear each other more than they covet your position. It is better to be hated than overthrown, but it is best to be neither. Men love novelty, but novelty is dangerous. A ruler who changes too quickly appears weak, as though his convictions shift with the wind. A ruler who never changes appears rigid, blind to necessity. Change deliberately, sparingly, with the appearance of continuity. Let each new policy seem an extension of what came before. In this way, you adapt without appearing to retreat. One day, if fortune spares you, you will stand at the summit of your power. The clamor of enemies will have quieted. The threats from within will have been subdued. Yet this is the most dangerous moment of all. Success breeds arrogance. Arrogance breeds neglect. Neglect breeds downfall. At the height of power, the seeds of ruin are sown. The wise ruler remains vigilant even in triumph, for he knows the greatest battles are often fought in silence against complacency and hubris. You must hold yourself as both man and symbol. The man eats, sleeps, feels fear. The symbol does not. The man grows weary. The symbol cannot falter. The man may doubt. The symbol must inspire. This duality is a burden you cannot lay down. Should you confuse the two, you will perish as both. Appear calm while you rearrange the board. Let no flicker of calculation disturb your expression. Let no shadow of fear darken your eyes. The board is vast, the pieces many, but all that matters is the outcome. The players will come and go, the game endures, and only those who master its hidden rules will remain standing when the last move is played. And when the last piece is set, when the board lies still beneath your hand and the voices of rivals have fallen silent, you will stand alone. Not as you once were, but as something else entirely. The world will not see the sleepless nights, the betrayals endured, the quiet calculations that preserved your throne. They will see only the outcome, and they will call it destiny. But you will know better. You will know that power was never given. It was taken. That loyalty was never offered. It was enforced. That peace was never granted. It was imposed. And in that knowledge lies your final freedom, not from the burdens of rule, but from the illusions that cripple lesser men. You will feel no triumph. Triumph is for those who believe the game can be won. You will feel no peace. Peace is for those who are too weak to hold the center. What you will feel is clarity, the cold clarity of the mountain peak, where the air is thin and nothing moves without your permission. You will have become what you feared and what you envied. Not a man, but the embodiment of necessity itself. To others you will seem invulnerable, eternal, the axis around which their lives turn. But you will know how fragile it all is. You will know that tomorrow or the day after, or in some unseen corner of the world, another will rise to test your will. And you will be ready, for this is the truth no one dares to speak. There is no victory, only survival. There is no end, only the ceaseless rearrangement of the board. To rule is not to conquer the chaos. It is to ride it, to bend it, to endure it, until all others have fallen away. So keep your gaze steady, keep your hand firm, keep your mask unbroken, appear calm, always calm, while you rearrange the board. And when they finally understand what you are, when they see not the man but the force that commands them, they will no longer ask if you are good or just or merciful. They will ask only one question: how much longer can he endure? And in that question lies your immortality.